people talk about, well, someone went to medical school, so they sacrificed all these years of their life, and and then they also talk about sacrifice this is what Mother Teresa is doing, and so, but I think Ayn Rand has a lot to clarify on this.
Yeah, well, one thing I can say to start off with is that one of our colleagues, Keith Lockitch, did a webinar just a month or two ago on this very issue.
Yeah, I was just mentioning that.
The talk was, does life require sacrifice? And so that's one thing to look at. But the essence of the answer here is that there's a big difference between sacrifice and investment. The way people often use the word sacrifice packages together rational investment, where you are paying the price for the pursuit of your values, but for selfish reasons, with giving things up for no greater return. And part of the reason why altruism has any appeal is precisely because it uses this package, because people recognize that investment in business, in education, in your relationships is important, because they assume that that's important, then these other things that are associated with investment by using this word sacrifice, well, they must be important too. But Ayn Rand's point is there's a fundamental distinction between investment, which involves surrendering a lesser value for a greater value, and sacrifice, which involves surrendering a greater value for what is in fact a lesser value or no value at all. And those need to be unpackaged. And so it's never a good idea to say you're making sacrifices for your children whom you love. If you really love them, what you're doing is paying the price of an investment in their future, which you see as an investment in your own happiness.
Yeah, and so just to take the flip side of that, and I think this is an example Rand uses, if you care more about having a new luxury car than having your children eat, then giving them food would be a sacrifice. But there's a different issue there. There's the person who has these strange value priorities. But I guess the other thing,
sacrifice to a person who's got an irrational set of values. Yes.
Yeah, I think we can agree to that. But I think the other thing that this brings up, which is helpful for thinking about this, I think a lot of times people are confused about sacrifice and altruism and what it means to be a good person, partly because their own values aren't things they reflect a lot about. Some of them are things they've absorbed, some of them are things they've chosen and thought about, but in the end they have a kind of they don't really have an explicit hierarchy of things that really matter to them that they've thought about. And so it's difficult to see, okay, well, I want to go out to the party tonight, but I also need to study for my medical school entrance exam. Which one am I going to do? Well, which one do you value most? Just sort of what is your long-term self-interest here? So I think people get tripped up that way. And one of the things that's helpful is to think about what really matters to you over the span of a lifetime, not just in the moment or how you feel today or tomorrow.